Hey everyone, welcome back to Millennial Living. I've been a homeowner now for about 30 years, and during that time I bought a lot of stuff. I bought some stuff for the house that's been helpful, and I bought some stuff that hasn't been very helpful at all, or next to like just garbage, right? And I wanted to kind of go through a list and give you my recommendations on the top 10 home essentials that everyone should have. It's not a complete list, but it's definitely a list that's going to make being a homeowner more enjoyable. Number one on my list, guys, and that is a flashlight. And this is a tool that I never realized would be so important. And the reason is you're going to be doing a lot of home repairs, or for example, you need to crawl in places in your house and you need to be able to see things, right? Because it's very dark. For example, I had to get up in my attic and I needed a flashlight. Or the time when I had to change my faucet, had to get under there and I needed a lot of light to see what's going on. These things came in really handy. Now, the thing about flashlights is it's 2020, so they are so much better. And the reason is they're rechargeable. And they use the same chargers as your phone, so you just need one charger, plug it in, and boom. And one of the great things about these rechargeable flashlights is they last a really long time on a single charge. There's three types of flashlights I think all homeowners should have. The first one is one you hold in your hand, and it's got a heft to it. And one of the great things about this flashlight is if you ever have to defend yourself, it works great as a weapon. The next type that you need, and that is a work light. They usually come in pairs. And the reason those are good, if you have a large area you need to work on, you can put those on the ground, your hands are free, and you have plenty of light. So for example, when I was changing my faucet, I was able to put them under the cabinet, and then I was laying there and working on changing everything and unscrewing everything, and I had plenty of light. Because as you guys know, when you get under there, it's pretty dark and you want to be able to see everything. So the next type of flashlight I recommend is one that goes around your head. And what's great about them is if you're in a tight space and you're looking at it, you have a flashlight right there on your head. Because the other two flashlights that I've recommended, those might not be able to get into those tight spaces. Number two on my list, and that's a fire extinguisher. And this one, I don't think I have to tell you why you need it, but you know what? If God forbid you ever have to use it, at least you have one nearby. So what I recommend is you get two of them, one for upstairs, downstairs, and if you also have a basement, get one for down there also, because if something goes down, there's one nearby and quickly put out whatever fire there is. Because for example, guys, a couple of years ago, a neighbor down the street, they had a fire and unfortunately they didn't have a fire extinguisher. So because of that, the fire got out of hand, and this was in the middle of winter. And as you can imagine, it caused a lot of unnecessary damage. Number three, and that's a smart thermostat. And the reason is, for example, we live in the Chicagoland area and my wife and I travel a lot. So if something goes wrong, we get an email notifying us, for example, that the furnace stopped working. And we're able to call one of our relatives, have them come over, take a look, and if we need to, call someone to come and repair it. Getting a smart thermostat is going to give you peace of mind. And I did a video already about it, so if you haven't seen it, check it out. But basically, guys, one of the great things about these is, for example, our utility company, if you call them, they actually will sell you one. And the great thing about it is half off. So compared to what you would be paying at Home Depot or Lowe's or Menards, if you go through your utility company, they'll actually sell it to you for generally about half off, and they'll send someone to your house to install it for free. Number four, and that is, you know what, modern living is very hectic, right? You got to go to work, you got kids, and you got like no time for yourself. And when you get home, you got to cook. And then you know what, that can be a little time consuming. So here's my recommendation for you guys, and that is get yourself a slow cooker. This is probably one of the best investments you can make for your family, because you know what, you can just find these recipes for slow cookers, just throw everything in there and then just let it go. And when you come home, your house is going to smell so good and the food is going to be amazing, and you have dinner for yourself, and you might have some leftovers, and you know what, you barely had to cook. Number five on my list, and this is something you probably don't know you need, but it's very important you have. And the reason is, guys, for example, if your stove goes out, right, you need to now get a new stove. Well, what do you got to do first thing? You got to use a tape measure, and you got to measure things to make sure the new one that you buy fits into the space. So tape measure comes in really handy. You always want to have one at your house, because I can't tell you how many times my wife and I will bust one out to measure something at the house. Number six on my list, and that is cast iron cookware. And the reason is, guys, with these, once you buy it, you make an investment for life, because As long as you maintain it properly, you'll never have to replace it. So many of these cookwares that they sell to you, they last maybe a year or 2 years or whatever, but with these cast iron, like I said, as long as you maintain it, they'll last a lifetime. So you make an initial investment and you'll never have to spend money on this ever again. Now, I know what you're thinking, right? All you ever do is use an Allen wrench because everything's from IKEA, right? But there's gonna be times when you buy something and you're gonna need like a screwdriver or like a drill or something like that. An interesting thing that I discovered is, if you watch my previous videos, I've told you guys that I'm not very handy. But one thing I've learned the longer I've become a homeowner is that when something goes wrong, the first thing I'll do is try to change it myself. And you know what? In the beginning, it felt a little overwhelming, but as time goes by, you get better and better at it. So having a tool set will save you a lot of money instead of paying someone. Number 8 on my list, I did a video already on it, but I'm gonna tell you again, and that is an outside light timer. And the reason is, when you come home at night, you know what? The outside lights on your home is lit up, and that way if you take your keys out, you can put it in the doorknob, get in the house easily without any, confusion. The other thing is, when you're gone, it gives the impression to the people around that you're home, which, is great, because that way somebody is like potentially trying to, break into your house or whatnot. It gives the impression that somebody's home. And the other thing is, let's say, you're looking out your house and stuff, you have full visibility. And guys, this was a really cheap investment. It was about 50 bucks for the switch. Plug it in and boom, you're ready to go. Number 9 on the list is more for your enjoyment, and that is, feeding your local critters. And what I mean by that is squirrels and birds. One of the reasons I recommend this, guys, is because if you don't know already, bird population has been decreasing due to the fact that man has been destroying their habitat by building homes and all this other kind of stuff. So it's really fun when you put birdseed out and you see birds you've never seen in your life before come. For example, blue jays and cardinals. Like, you don't see them on a regular basis. You might have seen them once long time ago, but it's awesome when you see these kind of birds come on a regular basis. And if you're like me and you have pets or kids, I can't tell you how great it is watching them look out the window, watching the animals feed. All right, guys, number 10 on the list, and this is a really good one, and that is having a trusted home repair contractor. And the reason is, a lot of the time, you might have like a plumber, or you might have an HVAC guy, but if something goes wrong, who are you going to call for an electrician, right? Who are you going to call for a roofing guy? Well, a lot of the time when we call these kind of people is usually like in an emergency, when there's something goes wrong. And so then you're kind of scrambling, you're looking through the internet and you find somebody and you kind of just go with it. Well, you always want to make sure you have your go-to guy for whatever problem it is. You want to have your go-to electrician, plumber, roofer, whatever it is, you want to make sure you have that guy. So when something happens, like an emergency, you have that person you can call. And the reason is, you trust that person. You know the job that they're going to do is good. Because a lot of the time, when it's an emergency, it's going to cost a lot of money. And you don't want to call just some random guy. So once you buy a house, you want to make sure you start building your portfolio of go-to contractors. So that's it, guys. That's my top 10 home essentials. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe, give me a like, and make sure to hit that notification bell. And stay tuned for more videos from Millennial Living.